moving on to 15th.
The North Queensland Cowboys. Who completely surprised me. I did think that would be. I actually tipped them to have a worse year than the Bulldogs, I think. But
I
I can't
tipped
remember now.
them. Yeah, I was the same. I predicted them for 14th. I honestly wasn't really sure what to make of the Cowboys.
It
They
was
didn't
really.
have a lot change between
Yeah.
2020 and this year, so I was kind of like, how are they actually going to go? And obviously, there was talk about the positional change, not the positional change, but the talking about changing the way they were using Taumalolo, and I really didn't think that would work.
Yeah. It was,
So
yeah,
I
it
yeah, I
was hard to
predicted
get
them
a
for
read on them.
14th and wasn't too far off. Reckon I deserve a point for one position off my prediction.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They were so hard to get a read on because I think they got a bit of credit because obviously Coach had across from
Peyton.
Warriors, yeah, where he'd done a good job there. Like he ended quite well
Yeah,
there.
they
Where
only just barely missed the finals.
everyone was like, "Oh," everyone thought. I don't think I've seen too many people were down on that decision to get Peyton to come across, and then it was their roster that really worried me because individually they all looked really good, but it just felt like something was missing. I had that feeling of I just can't quite put my finger on it all off season. I'm like something's not right. Like you've got like Val Holmes, for example, where he's like, is he a winger? Is he a fullback? Oh my god, what's his best position? You know, stuff like that. Where it's like, what are we? What are they doing with their?
Yeah, they swapped Tabuai Fido and Val Holmes around a hell of a lot, and I really think that messed with the
Yeah, like there wasn't
way
any.
their side gelled.
There wasn't. They don't
I think
have that.
some of it was forced because of injury, but
Yeah, but they didn't have that roster cohesion. Like even Tamalolo changed through the year, and granted, we didn't know it at the time that was going to happen, but it's just, yeah. I think they'll be better for an off season now. Val Holmes just needed to get the New York Jets stench off of him, and then things should fall into place.
Ouch.
Shots fired.
That is a low blow. Absolute low blow.
Oh, we loved every minute of it. That's good. Oh my god. I do wonder how much that affected him though, because before he went off, he was pretty highly rated in the NRL. I wonder how much of that affected his game.
Yeah. How long did he have between coming back from playing in the NFL to playing in the NRL again?
I'm not sure. Top of my head.
I don't remember what year he was over there. Was it 19?
Yeah, I think he's had what 2 seasons now. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Hayne did the same thing. He came back, and I think he had sort of his first game back. He looked good, and then he just from there was a bit average.
Yeah, but he was able to. He came back midway through the season in 2018, I think,
Yeah,
because he wasn't exactly under the rules of can't be signed from such and such a date because he wasn't an NRL contracted player at the time. Because he was an outsider, technically, I think they were able to.
yeah.
let him sign for the Titans.
Dominic, Cowboys fans should be lucky Val didn't go to the Patriots before Brady left. Chiefs, Ravens, or Bills. Otherwise, he'd still be here. Really? So you think he would have been good enough to actually lock down a spot?
Because we didn't see too much in the news about how he was going over there.
Yeah, like I didn't hear too much news, so more a question of ignorance, born from ignorance rather than doubting.
Yeah, I thought it was like whatever he was doing over there, for the most part, was kept rather quiet.
Yeah, he's our information source on the NFL, who we drive nuts with questions constantly. His brain's probably exploded by now. At least
we
once.
make no apologies for the questions we asked yesterday, Dominic. Absolutely no apologies whatsoever.
Be prepared for many more.
My brain melted trying to process things, so I had to try and get some clarification.
Like, what's going on here?
How does this work? All right, so the Cowboys highlight.
The only moment that really stands out to me is Val Holmes' 40-meter field goal. That was pretty sweet. That was a good little moment. But
it was a nice little strike.
But overall, I think they were pretty consistent at their level all year, which is, I think, why they ended up where they did. I can't think of anything that stood out too much. Maybe that game against you guys, as much as this is going to hurt. I think they probably played their best game that game. They just happened to go down and play their best game against you guys that week.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just...
I believe it or not, that's the game I've pinpointed.
Yeah,
as their highlight.
Like, they genuinely played well that game. Like, that was... I don't think
They scored, I think, in the 3rd minute, and we were on the back foot for that entire first half, and
yeah, which is what
we
won
tried
the
to
game.
bring it back. Yeah, we tried to bring it back and almost did, but one try that got disallowed that maybe was questionable was kind of the nail in the coffin for the Tigers. So they held us off. They got their first win of the season, and they broke their Tigers at Leichhardt hoodoo.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's always fun to see those little hoodoo things happen. Like this year, we've got the 50-point loss is still a thing in the NRL. Thank God.
To be honest, I kind of wish the Rabbits won just to get that stat fucked off, because I can't stand it.
See, the problem is then you've got the no coach has won a grand final after coaching 300 games in the NRL. So then that stat, like, you'd hear about that every week until bloody Ivan Cleary won a grand final or retired. So I'm glad that it's gone, so we can stop hearing about it now. And like the comparisons to Brian Smith.
Don't worry, the Tigers will concede 50 in round 1 next year, and
then win the comp.
Win the comp.
Stop hearing about it.
Just to get rid of Scott Bailey's post every time it happens.
Oh my God. It is one of those ones you get sick of hearing, but also, I don't know, kind of fun as well. Especially this year with the Rabbitohs getting it, because when they conceded those 50 points, they weren't the full strength. The Storm game particularly, they were missing half their team. You go back and look at that roster, holy crap, it was terrible. But that's why.
How much of the team were they missing when you guys put 50 on them?
Let's have a
2 weeks later.
So make sure the South are not the Eels. Because a rabbit and an eel look quite similar.
Oh, absolutely.
Almost identical. So their team list for the Storm game, at fullback was Cody Walker. The wingers were Alex Johnson and Dane Gagai. Their centers were Stephen Masters and Braden Burns. But already there, you're like, wait, what? Hang on,
2 very young centers and an actual center playing on the wing.
Yeah, and they're 5'8" playing at fullback. Oh, Dominic, yeah, because the Jets are, as of now, an incompetent run team. The teams I mentioned are title contenders who would have known how to use him. Also, no apologies necessary. No apologies necessary. Yet.
We may not be done yet.
We haven't even made it to the playoffs yet. Aha, and I said playoffs, not finals. Getting better.
Learning.
It can be taught. That was because obviously coming from us, we call it finals. So I keep saying finals, and he'd be like, "Oh, we call it playoffs." And it's like it took a while to sink in.
You American fools.
Do it right.
Get it right for a change. Come on.
And then, yeah, their halves were Dean Hawkins and Benji Marshall.
Benji, fair enough, but who the hell is Dean Hawkins?
Let's have a look. So, yeah, he's played all of 3 games, and that was probably his debut game. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but yeah, 3-game 5'8" with your 5'8" at fullback and your starting half.
What an epic career it's been. He's played 3 games.
Like,
and one of them he conceded 50 points.
Yeah, like, so, you know, and no offense to Benji, but Adam Reynolds is better at this point of their respective careers. Like, Benji has been good.
Considering Benji's career is now officially done.
Yeah, well, let's say at that point of their careers, then Benji now, his stats probably aren't going to look too good being retired. So to be fair, now every week at the competition from here on out, Benji is going to have no errors, no missed tackles. Think about it. That's pretty good stuff.
The master plan.
But no, like it's not like Rabbits fans are like falling over themselves with excitement for that halves pairing. I think you definitely want Adam Reynolds there. Like, he's much better at that point in time than Benji is. Benji was great off the bench. I think, you know,
he was the 14 they needed, and like a big part of why they did as well as they did.
Yeah, like, because that being able to inject someone like that for 10-15 minutes a game is actually pretty huge. Like a massive advantage.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, how many teams can boast a utility like that? Like, look at Penrith with the absolute pelican Tyrone May. Fuck. Like,
nice choice of insult. I like it.
Well, I called him a potato on Reddit, and I had to apologize because potatoes are amazing.
Potatoes are love. Potatoes are life.
Exactly. I'm sorry, potatoes. I didn't mean it. You're amazing. You bring so much joy to the world. But, like, seriously, oh my god, for all his bragging, and he isn't even a good football player.
Like, not even close to a good football player.
It's like, at least Benji coming on off the bench, like, man, he had some great touches this year. I think it was against the Titans, and he put on an absolute masterclass. Won the game. Like, wow. Benji's still got them skills.
Yeah, I remember that game against the Titans. Anyway, we're getting a little off topic here.
Which is going to happen. That's just how it works. It's more fun conversation. Their forwards were Burgess, Ola, and then Cook at hooker. And then, you know, at the back row, Alamatangi, Stua, Arrow. So the forwards weren't too bad, but again, you're missing one of your best players, if not your best player and best forward lock in Cameron Murray. Also,
and their backs were like 5 jigsaw puzzle pieces that don't fit together, but you try and force them to.
Yeah, like, there's a reason defensively they were bad, and it's because of the roster, not because, you know, it's entirely a roster problem. They're like Cameron Murray, like in the grand final, he had 51 tackles, 0 missed. So you take that out of the team, and there's your 50 points just there on its own. Like, who's making up his defensive work? Like, it's insane.
Pretty much.
Like, that is, for a losing team, he's up there with one of the best on the field in the grand final. Insanely good looking too. Completely unfair. probably why he's so good defensively. Like, opposition players go to run past him and they just get bamboozled,
Blinded.
like, by the good looks, and they're like, "Holy crap!" And then bam, he smashes them. Like, damn, I'll have to remember that next time. And then it happens again because you can't help it. And yeah, their bench: Mark Nichols, Liam Knight, Patrick Margot, Jed Cartwright. So yeah, it's not like the worst ever. Like, I've seen worse benches than that, but at the same time, like, against the Storm, that's not going to cut it. Ame Sele, 18th man. So that's why they put the 50 points on. That's why I don't think that game counted. I've said it. I said it before. I don't think that game counts because we're almost playing as a different team. That's not the South who rocked up. That's not South Sydney. Have a look at their roster versus us. Round 11. This is the home game that they took to Dubbo, and we've got players who from Dubbo. Good choice, fools. Like, you walked right into our trap. Matt Burton got a hat-trick in his hometown because you took your home game there against us. Like,
maybe they didn't get a choice of which team they played there.
Yeah, my guess is they probably picked the round. Like, yep, this is our home game. I'm going to take it there, and then the draw.
Or like
comes out.
picked what point of the season? Like, if they wanted early season, mid season, late season.
Pretty sure. Double check it.
Because like with the Tigers and their home game at Tamworth as well, I don't know what sort of say they have in when or who.
Yeah, I thought so. Isaiah Yo is also from Dubbo, so we had two players. It's their hometown.
You've also got Charlie Staines, who's not from Dubbo, but from the same general area.
Yeah, so it kind of works in our favour because it's going to be a Penrith bias from that sort of area. We played our trap card, which is probably worth 20 points on its own. Yeah,
2,000 life points.
So yeah, their roster against us, so that was fullback Latrell Mitchell, Alex Johnson, and Josh Mansour on the wings. Guy and Campbell. So they had more that was closer to a full, and then halves Walker Reynolds. So they were closer to full strength, their back line against us. Forwards, Burgess, Cook, Tola, Kalmatangi, Sewer, Knight. And then their bench, Marshall, Nichols, Arrow, Cartwright. But really, the main one, they were mostly full strength, but missing Cameron Murray, which actually goes to show what I was saying before about like his defensive workload. It really goes to show the difference he makes. Like 56-12, 50 like nil or whatever.
And you look at the difference when they played you guys the second time and then the third time.
Like, even though we beat them second time we played them, it's 25-12.
They came back and beat you in the qualifying final.
Yeah. And the difference there, they have Cameron Murray. Like, he is huge for their defense. He makes massive amounts of tackles. Player stats. Rabbitohs. So we got. Defense. The 74 run meters. It's not like he's like destroying teams with his running meters. Forward. The defensive stats. Here we go. Tackle efficiency 96.5. Tackles made 55. Missed tackles 2. So like that's entirely them, the middle of the field. He just locks it up. Consistently making 50 tackles a game. It's very, very few misses somehow. This is like amazing.
Yeah, when you've got that player who does that role,
Yeah.
an
So
absolute defensive wall in the middle.
I think them conceding 50 was massively. It was huge. What I'm looking for here. It was almost like an illusion. That makes sense. It's like it's a bit of an easy trap to fall into. It's like no, don't fall for it.
Yeah, just things just went a little bit wrong,
Yes.
and it showed.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, we've gone way off topic.
Just
Damn
a
you,
tad.
Cameron Murray. Why do you have to be so cool? Just get my head, and then I just get all bamboozled.
He your man crush, is he?
Oh, I love Cameron Murray. He's definitely up there.
I know you're married and all, but it sounds like you've got a bit of a man crush.
Oh, my wife understands. She understands. you just say, well, it's Cameron Murray, and she's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay. But yeah, like he's up there with one of my favorites in the comp. He's amazing. All right. So we've got Cows highlight of this season, their low light of the season. So the highlight of the season, obviously, we agreed the game versus you guys.
Sadly so, yes.
I honestly can't pinpoint a specific. I think they were consistently pretty awkward, pretty low all season. I think it's just generally the year.
Well, it's really funny actually because they actually I'm going to check this one particular fact on the ladder after a certain round. And so they had a really bad loss to Manly in round 14. I think it was like 50 to something.
Oh, it was like a home game?
No, that would have been an away one because their home game was against Manly was the one later in the season where Turbo pulled off that ridiculous try. That after the siren try, that was the home game for the Cowboys. Actually, was it? Oh, maybe I don't even actually know. Maybe they played. Maybe they faced off both times up there.
The last game of the season, round 25, Queensland, Country Bank Stadium, 46-18. So you were right.
Okay, here it is.
Yeah, earlier in the season, Four Pines Park, Sydney, 50-18. And I remember that because that was around the Origin time. New South Wales beat Queensland at North Queensland. And after this game, I made the joke, my most highly rated comments on Reddit, that DCE just can't stop fucking North Queensland over. Because he played for Queensland in North Queensland, they lost. And then he goes and plays North Queensland Cowboys and smashes the shit out of them. Plays a good game.
Yep, I found the thing that I was thinking of and I was right. So
that's why I said you were right.
After that bye in round 13, the Cowboys... Actually, did they have a bye in round 13? Yeah, they did. They had a bye in round 13. With that bye, they were up in 7th on the ladder. They had started off with their 4-0 record, and they ended up getting it back to 6-6 to be 7th on the ladder. They then had that loss to Manly in round 14 where they got absolutely walloped.
Yeah.
And then they continued a losing streak that lasted until round 23.
Yeah.
So like all of the hard work they did to get back to 6-6 was undone by that loss to Manly that started a horrific losing run. So that's kind of what I've pinpointed as their low point.
So we'll call it that. We'll agree on that, I think.
Like that's a massive losing streak.
Yeah. Which is what got them to where they were on the ladder.
Right, to only win one game for the rest of the season from that point onward was
Club's
pretty
MVP
sad.
For the year. For the Cowboys.
I went with Hess. I think what they did with Hess actually worked out all right for them. Not spectacular, but they finished second
Yeah.
last, so not much is going to be spectacular.
Yeah. I'll say MSI Tabiao because he looks good. He's just, I think, that backline shifting around a bit, and I think they need to just get him consistent in a position and let him run with it. And I think you'll turn him into a star over time. And he had some good touches, like that try, that chip kick try he scored against you guys. I think that was probably their moment of the season there. That's probably their highlight of the year right there. Guys, really good. They just need to start using him better, I think, especially with his speed. Jesus Christ, he's so good.
I think. Do you think he's more of a fullback or a winger? Because obviously his speed and finishing ability is really good on the wing, but
I'd like to see him get some consistent time at fullback. Like his support
see how
play,
it actually goes.
Yeah, his support play would be really, really lethal. If you get like, especially if like you can get Tamalolo dragging 4 defenders in a tackle and then offloading, like he did it against us. He scored an amazing try, one of the tries of the year. I think it was 2020. We beat them, but man, his try was really awesome. Just backing up the middle off an offload, and I think that would be really dangerous for them.
Yeah, especially with the wrecking ball that Tamalolo is, and the fact that he has that ability to draw that many defenders, which really makes it hard for the rest of the defensive line to handle an offload if there is one.
Exactly, that's your game-breaking combination there.
Like, what hope have you got handling an offload when 4 of your 13 players are locked on one man, and you've got a potential fullback like Tabuai sniffing around, ready to just rip you apart.
Yeah, exactly, and he's so quick. Even if you are good defensively, he's going to take that half gap and turn it into a try.
As for my choice for rookie, I said they've actually got like a really fun group of rookies coming through the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I included Hamaso in that, and we didn't get to see much of these other two because they only debuted in round 22 against the Tigers. But Tom Gilbert and Jeremiah Nanai both looked pretty good and like they were ready for the big stage of the NRL.
Yeah.
So get more game time into pretty much all 3 of those guys and the other youngsters they had coming through.
Yeah.
In a couple of years' time, they will start looking better.
Yeah. They've got good juniors to pick from. It's just a matter of bringing them through and developing them into first grade. They've never had an issue having talented juniors. We'll see how they go. And we'll just, I'll agree with that. I'm going to say Fido we haven't seen that much of the other guys, but we know they're talented and do a good job. Early thoughts on how they were shaping for 2022?
I'm finding them pretty tough to place next year.
I
think they're a legitimate chance of the wooden spoon, unfortunately for them. I think they're going to be in that 15th to 16th, and as it stands, I've pretty much got them as my 16th place team because it doesn't look like too much is changing.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like too much is going to really improve, and when you only had one team finish below you who look like they're going to improve quite drastically, it's not exactly good signs for the Cowboys, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing. Hope they do better, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe an off-season will do them a bit of good, but yeah, pretty much agree absolutely with that one. It's just, I just can't pick them, honestly. They're one of those teams that are really tough to get a read on, probably the hardest, because they have a lot of really good individual talent. If they get it all to work really well together, well, they can do pretty much anything, but it's a matter of, I guess, the coaching getting their selections right and all that sort of stuff, so we'll see what happens.
They could also completely and utterly surprise us both and make it back to the finals again. Like, they're one of those teams.
Like, I hope they do.
Not at the expense of the Tigers, of course. I mean, if they have to make it back to the finals at the expense of the Tigers, then no fucking thank you. But otherwise, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah. No one wants that to happen, for their own team, but,